everyone, it's great to meet you. Sorry I can't be there in person today, and I hope you're all staying healthy and well at home. I was so excited when Tracy invited me to speak to you guys about my experience in starting my first job after university. It was just over 3 years ago that I finished my Masters of Engineering degree at Melbourne, and since then I've been working as a technology consultant for a global consultancy firm called Accenture. So thinking back, those 3 years ago as a final year graduate student, the thought of joining the workforce was definitely quite daunting. And my journey since then has certainly been full of both highs and lows, but ultimately I've learned so much in the past 3 years. Some of which I'd love to share with you today. In particular, it's the little things that I wish I knew when I was in your position 3 to 4 years ago. I hope you can find something that's of value to you today.
Alright, so shall we get started? So this is the 10 things I wish I knew about getting and starting my first job. To kick us off, I'd like to start with getting my first job after uni. So tip number 1, any work experience is good experience. So, this wasn't about me just trying to fill out the white spaces on my CVs. It was so many reasons why work experience is important. First, it really helped me figure out what it was that I enjoyed doing and what I didn't. Yes, I'm sure many of you already know what you enjoy in terms of hobbies and interests, but in the context of work, this can actually be quite different. So let me give you an example. I know I love social interaction, I love hanging out with my friends and chit-chatting about life, but when I landed my first part-time job in hospitality, I realized that whilst I enjoyed collaborating with my teammates, customer service and any customer-facing roles just really wasn't my cup of tea. So really take the time to, figure out what it was you enjoy in a work context. Secondly, it's really important from a perspective of developing your soft skills. So often at university we focus on learning facts and formulas, but there's less of an opportunity for us to develop soft skills that are critical in the workplace. So this can be like multitasking, managing expectations, and even collaborating with people that you may have opposing views with. So these are all essential skills for the workplace and are highly valued by employers. The third thing you can really take away from getting some work experience is to demonstrate that you can take responsibility and see tasks through. Because ultimately that's why an employer pays you, so that you can take responsibility and be accountable for delivering something. Up until this stage of our lives, we've been at the receiving end of, for lack of a better word, a service, that is education. We are taught, we are given assignments. The only thing we are responsible for is our own learning. When you're in the workforce, what you do will impact more than just yourself. So that's why getting some experience under your belt is so important and so valued by employers. Tip number 2, get a boost with LinkedIn Gold, or sometimes it's known as LinkedIn Premium. So for those of you not on LinkedIn already, please get on it. It's one of the top online sites, professional, social, and career networking. So you and I might use LinkedIn for exactly that, and job searching companies also use it for recruiting. So it's really important that you have a presence on this platform if you want to be discovered. Alright, so why upgrade to a LinkedIn Premium account as opposed to just using the free account? Well, let me give you 3 good reasons that I found. So firstly, LinkedIn is a platform that has lots of job advertisements, and you can actually apply directly through the website. What happens when you do apply, however, is the recruiter gets a list of applicants, and if you have a subscription to the Premium account, you'll see here your application goes immediately to the top. So in a very competitive job market, this can make all the difference as to whether your application is even read at all. The second good reason that convinced me to get LinkedIn Gold was the insights that it gives you on the other applicants. So first, you can see the key skills that the recruiter may be looking for and where you fit as compared to other applicants. You can see their education level. So here I can see I'm one of the 44% that has a master's degree, and the level of seniority of the other applicants. So it just gives you a small competitive edge into, well, what applications are you going to be successful in applying? And lastly, the third reason was that we can actually contact the job posted directly through email if you're a premium account holder. So here you can see apply, and you can see the recruiter that posted this job. I can send her an email because I have got a premium account. If you have a non-premium account, you'll actually have to add this contact on LinkedIn first before sending a note. This is really good just from a follow-up perspective. So a good benefit of joining. So tip number 3, know your strength and not the cliche ones. So I think one of the really challenging things about going to job interviews is, how do you stand out? If we all rock up and say we're great at communication, we're great at leadership, and we're great at teamwork, well, it also sound like the same interview. So what I found really useful was actually the Clifton Gallup Strength Finder. So you can see there's a list of, key strengths categories that they are able to identify when you complete their test. So it's really powerful in terms of helping individuals identify and understand and maximize their strength by ultimately exploring the natural ways which you think, feel, and behave. I found this really pivotal in helping me understand my strength, but also helping me articulate it. So I can't recommend it enough. So to give you an example of what I found about myself, well, one of my key strengths were actually input. What does this mean for me? It means that I'm inquisitive and have a desire to collect information. It makes me great at connecting with people by learning and remembering things about them. I can become an expert quickly on any topic because I like to collect information, and I'm confident in managerial roles because I don't get overwhelmed with a broad range of information. So how do you get detailed information about yourself? Well, you'll require a small financial commitment of $50. You complete the test and it will ultimately give you the top 34 strengths that you identified with. Tip number 4, even unsuccessful interviews are good opportunities. So this might seem crazy, but let me justify myself. So firstly, I think all interviews are great opportunities of expanding your professional network. Usually when you go for interviews, it's often really senior stakeholders within those organizations. So it's a great opportunity for you to add someone on your LinkedIn network, or even just connect with them via email after the interview to say thanks, but also just, to stand out of the crowd. Getting feedback after each interview is also a great opportunity to pulse check your job finding progress, whether that's understanding what you did well or finding out why you might have missed out on the role. Getting feedback is vital for improvement, and your chances of landing that first grad job will definitely improve as you begin to fine-tune your CV and skills. Because ultimately, practice does make perfect in this case, and there is no replicating the same kind of pressure as an interview room. So unfortunately, practicing with your best friend or mum and dad won't be the same as actually being in that quite intense situation. Tip number 5. Your first job probably won't be your dream job. And look, I don't mean to burst your bubble, but I would counter and ask, do you even know what your dream job is? We might think we know what we'd love to do for a profession, but it is not until you're on the ground running that you really know what it's like to work in that role. Be prepared early in your career to try many different roles and responsibilities, even if it's within the same company or even the same team. Try it out before you rule it out. And when you find something you do enjoy, start to pivot in that direction. Alright, so now you've got your first job. Let's talk about some of the things I wish I knew when starting my first job after uni. Tip number 6, I won't always be complimented for good work. So this was something I really struggled with for the first 6 months of starting my job. Despite my long hours and hard work, I wasn't always getting validation for the effort I've put in and the achievements I've made. It took me some time to realize that it wasn't really a reflection of my performance. Most managers just don't have the time to give constant feedback, therefore finding a sense of achievement required me to set my own goals to work towards, then scheduling in fortnightly check-ins with my manager to make sure I was focusing on the right things. The second thing about not getting feedback is that sometimes no feedback is good feedback. It means that I'm on the right track and there are no glaring things that needs to be corrected. Finally, I want you to know that even if some of your hard and great work might go unnoticed at times, in the long run they will pay off and you will be recognised for your ability to deliver good work. Tip number 7. It's great to ask questions, but even better if you can find the answers yourself. I honestly cannot tell you how much this is appreciated. Having been at my job for some time now, I've been allocated plenty of new grads to onboard into my teams. Just trying to meet work deliverables can be so busy that myself and other managers don't usually have the time to help you every step of the way. Therefore, you showing some initiative when it comes to learning and solving problems goes a long way in making a good impression. This is absolutely not to say that you can't ask for help, but instead of asking, "How do I?" all the time, try to self-serve for the answers. Do you know what a great resource the internet is? I can't tell you how many problems it's helped me solve. Then once you think you have the path forward, ask, "Am I on the right track?" This not only lightens the demand on your manager who's trying to onboard you, but it demonstrates to them that you are able to navigate problems independently, so they will feel more comfortable in giving you new opportunities to tackle in the future. Tip number 8. Having work friends help you excel. So here's a fun statistic to help me explain. Did you know that you will spend an average of 21% of your waking life at work across your lifespan of about 80 years? And during your work days, you will actually spend more time with your colleagues than your family, which is why having friends at work will be critical for your mental health, because even when we're at work, we need a laugh, we need to let off steam, and we need someone to talk to about the fun things we did over the weekend just to keep us sane. And sane people, well, they're generally more productive at work. And secondly, when it comes to actually doing your job, having work friends actually makes collaboration so much easier and also helps you get help faster. I don't know how many times I've called in favors to friends at work to get my files or the data models I need for my work prioritized, saving me honestly days of waiting time. And then finally, if you want people to give good feedback about you to your company directors, then fostering a positive relationship would definitely increase your chances and probably help you get the next promotion. Look, I'm not saying you need to be best friends with everyone at work, but strive for a positive relationship with everyone, because you never know when you might need their help or support. Tip number 9, be prepared to own your mistake. Unfortunately, the chances are we will all make a mistake, or many, during our time at work, and especially when we first start out, as it is all in new territory. It will feel like the end of the world, but I promise it isn't, and there are a few steps to help you come back from it. If not unscathed, at least a little bit wiser. The first step you must do is admit your mistake. Rather than stressing out about how you're going to cover up your mistake, set up a private meeting with your boss to go through the mistake. This can definitely be hard and it takes bravery, but ultimately your manager is responsible for you and will bear the brunt of your mistake if it is not resolved, so they deserve to know. Besides, the chances are you're not the first person to have made this mistake, and they may already have an action plan ready to go. Step 2. Present a plan. If possible, prepare your own remediation plan ahead of the meeting. It shows that you're trying your hardest to resolve this problem as well. Step 3. Don't point fingers. Whilst you might want to distribute some of the blame in this single situation, or you might just want to clarify what really happened, but the price you pay is that you can severely damage your working relationship with the team, and people may come to trust you less. Instead of pointing fingers, describe the situation and move to solution mode. Step 4. Apologize and help fix it. Genuinely say the words, "I'm sorry, I made a mistake." Resist the urge to offer any more excuses or start apologizing profusely. Instead, move forward and help with the remediation. Actions speak louder than words, and in particular in this situation. Step 5. Forgive yourself. It's okay to make a mistake, and that's how we'll all learn. Reflect on how you might need to change the way you work in the future, but then let it go. You can't let this single mistake from holding you back or keeping you down. Tip number 10. Find a work-life balance that aligns with your goals. So work-life balance can be a really hard thing to navigate. You want to impress your new boss, you want to show that you're capable, but then you also don't want to be that workaholic that doesn't have a life because they're always at the office. This was some of the inner quarrels in my first couple of years at work. I was trying to be the best employee, the best friend, the best sister, the best daughter, all at the same time. And failing to achieve all four definitely got me down, and this was an incredibly challenging chapter of my working life. It wasn't until a mentor of mine pulled me aside for a chat that I got some perspective. He asked me why I was always so conflicted. Why did I feel guilty when I couldn't finish my work, then also feel guilty if I stayed at work late to finish that work and missed my usual Thursday trivia night with my friends? He explained that I must find a balance that aligns with my goals, that the balance will change from time to time as my priorities shift. He explained that if my priority at the moment is to focus on my career, then perhaps spending 60% of my time working and developing professionally is justified. But then I must also allow myself to reduce commitment in other parts of my life. Recognizing the different stages of my life, there will be different balances that make me happy, and being okay with that. So I guess my parting message is, starting your first job will be challenging, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. Allow yourself to give and take in different areas of your life as required. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. I certainly hope that you find a few tips in there that will be of help to you in getting your first job or give you some perspective of when you do start on the job. Don't forget, some of your best resource and support network will be each other, as everyone is in this together. So check in on each other, encourage each other, and best of luck everyone. Thank you.